And Stephen A. Smith looks at now these two things, and he sees how Julius Randle seems to be a bigger trending topic in New York than Kevin Durant. That R.J. Barrett is a bigger trending topic. That Tom Thibodeau, a bigger trending topic. That the Knicks' mild success is a bigger deal than what the Nets are doing so far. And so he takes it to this level on First Take yesterday, that he believes that these guys, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, might actually regret the decision of going to Brooklyn instead of Madison Square Garden.
I want to state for the record, whether they admit it or not, that if the New York Knicks are in the playoffs and the Brooklyn Nets don't win the chip, KD, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving will regret the day they pass on becoming a New York Knick.
I don't.
Molly wasn't having it.
Yeah,
Clearly,
I don't think that that's the case. And maybe Stephen A. is trying to make the point based on this team in New York, the Knicks, that is, going to have a playoff spot and the roster the way it is. But if KD and Kyrie were a Knick right now, some of these guys wouldn't even be there.
it don't matter.
Why?
It would, because you have to understand, if the Knicks were the team with 44 or 42 wins right now, first in the East.
Yes.
With these these guys?
Yes.
Oh no. You have you can't stand how we get with mild success. I would be insufferable right now next to you.
No, I get if they were on the team.
They would be legendary right now.
No
and they
question,
wouldn't even, and they've only played 7 games together.
There's no question about it. Being in LA, raised in LA.
You get it, yeah.
It's the Clipper-Laker argument.
If
Clippers
Lob
are
City was in Laker uniforms.
Calm down.
Right?
You're getting excited just talking about the relax.
Because this is relax. You're talking to a New Yorker. You want me to relax talking basketball? I can't do it.
But if it's like the Lakers and the Clippers, is the argument. I see it for New York. I couldn't figure out why they decided to go to the Nets versus the Knicks, but because everyone's trying to sell me on ownership that Dolan's in this and Dolan's of that and nobody wants to play for him, and that's what was being sold. So they decided to join the Nets, and you knew they were going to be good.
And KD said the Knicks weren't cool.
But the Knicks are cool if KD's on the Knicks. That's the difference. If I'm KD and Kyrie, I'm going to the Knicks. I want that smoke.
Why?
Because it's going to take me to a whole nother level. I don't know, and you have to educate me and tell me, if they win in Brooklyn as the Nets and they win a championship, it won't have the same gravitas as winning as a Knick.
Not even close.
See, I want the Knick stuff. I don't want the Net stuff. I want to be at the top of the Empire State Building as a Knick with a Knick jersey on, opposed to being in just a high rise as a Brooklyn Net. That's how I feel about the Clippers and the Lakers. If the Clippers were to win a championship, it's like, oh, okay, cool. What time is their ticker tape? Oh, it's at 1. Oh, okay.
I'll avoid downtown.
No, it's what channels are they going to be on? Oh, they might be on like Channel 5. They're going to show it live, KTLA. Oh, they're not going to show it on ABC or CBS? No, it's just going to be. That's the way the Clippers are viewed. I view the Nets the same way as someone who's here, where the Knicks, I'm like, that's popping right there. That's just me, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's not. And of course, the question is if the Nets, and that's what Stephen A. is saying, if they don't win a championship, they fall short of that.
Yes.
And the Knicks are in the playoffs. The Knicks had a better season by comparison. Again,
it's boom or bust for the Nets, regardless if the Knicks make the playoffs or not, based on the construction of the roster and how they went about getting Harden and now Blake Griffin. So when you put all that together, they have what I would call a dream team coaching staff, right? They got a dream team coaching staff over there. They got a former MVP. They got Mike D'Antoni, all-time winning coach or whatever you want to call it. Jacques Vaughn. I mean, they got all the pieces on the staff that's aligned with star power. Then you go to the court, they got ridiculous star power. They're expected to go to the championship and possibly win.
They're built for that.
The Knicks are expected just to figure out how to get to next season. So, I mean, that's the way you came into the season believing that.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you go out the season believing that?
Well, of course, but it's always about the right now, and the right now is This was the opportunity for the Nets to take over, as they always say, take over the city, to get a whole generation of fans on their side. We talked to Andrew Yang yesterday about he left the Knicks for the Nets, and that was supposed to happen. But because this Knicks team has become sort of that, it's a fun team to root for, you're not doing that as the Nets. And so even winning a championship might not move the needle as much as you might have thought, which is, which is remarkable. But let me ask you this, and again, it's Keyshawn J. Will Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. All guys join us on the Goodyear Hotline. I want to ask you, like, you already have now star power in LA on both teams, right? You got obviously Paul George and Kawhi on the Clippers,
different though,
AD,
yes.
LeBron on the Lakers. Serious star power, serious teams that are major market teams that are going to always be on ABC, ESPN, TNT, all that stuff. In New York, you have the Nets and their star power. The Knicks are a fun team, but they don't have the star power.
Yes.
If you're the NBA, it's not like the final piece. If I can get some stars, like marquee names on the Knicks, you've got now 4 teams in 2 of your biggest markets.
Yes.
With big names. They always say, like, the small markets are still important. How big would that be for the league, though? Is that important for the league, do you think?
I think it's important to have winning teams in big cities, no question about it. But I don't think that the league would go out of its way to push star power to the Knicks, per se.
Well, you don't have to do that. The Knicks are maybe doing it for themselves by looking like a team that's fun and maybe stars would want to come here. I'm just saying, for the NBA, that could be real interesting. If they do attract a star or two, well, then you got, for the league, 4 teams in your major markets that all have star power, and that can certainly
Damian Lillard on his way to the
mean a
Knicks.
lot. All right, you start the rumor. I'll carry it from here.